Hi and welcome to the git-python live development stream. It's Byron speaking, and we are back to the submodule, to the quest for fixing submodules. I think we are kind of close to the end, because in theory, I mean, sure there might be more work, but what we are up to do now is to just try to get this old but rather, tough test case back to work. The difficulty here is that it's a big continuous adjustment of submodules in one way or another, and it used itself to set up these submodules, so it required kind of a certain submodule structure within git-python itself, which by now has changed. So there's no async anymore, and certain tests, therefore we have to kind of fix up a few tests here in order to not be dependent on that one anymore. If we run this test, I think that's the one. We see that it now fails at line 160 of that particular test, and they're just like 240 lines to go. I mean, let's see how difficult it will be. Let's just go step by step and see what the issue is. Good. So dry run does nothing. Update should fail if... Oh, here it is. It should fail if the path already exists and is non-empty. What does it say? It says git command error. Oh, I might have changed this indeed. So in update, is there an update? Yeah. There was this, or there still is this piece of code here that should make sure that we don't get to cloning this one. So I guess that's really what it wanted to to show. But apparently that isn't the case anymore. So I don't know if I fixed it or basically I broke it recently, or if that was broken all the time. But hey, have to figure that one out just now. So we go into submodule base update right away. 475. So we actually get past this point. Maybe module path is now a git file, and this is why it doesn't work. Yeah, that could be the case. Even though that's a directory here, claims that at least. Yeah, it is a directory. It's non-empty. So here we have the module path. Maybe one up. Another one up. Module path. Come on, where am I? I'm in submodule. Oh, no, wait, one more up. Okay. Module path should be here. And indeed, okay. Now I see. I think I know what happened, because that path indeed doesn't exist. But what this actually wants to check if the checkout, the module checkout path is already existing there. So I guess. Sorry, my microphone just wanted to crash into the disaster but I managed to, with cat-like reflexes, prevent that from happening. It's also good to know that this can happen. I have to be on the watch now. Well. Good. I hope that will not happen again. But hope usually is not good enough for that kind of stuff. So I think now it will not happen again. Yeah. Good. Where was I? So we have to, what's new in submodules is that we now deal properly with Git files. And apparently there are still situations where it's possibly not working that well. And this is something that needs to be fixed. So the module apps path returns that, but here we are interested in the checkout path. The checkout path in this case is just kind of a relative path of ourselves, which is relative to our to this repository here. This is why that even works. So I think there are a few things that I want to change. So first I would like to have a checkout module apps path. Which is our repository's working tree. Basically, but the checkout path is where our submodule path is supposed to be. That is a relative path. And wait, I think there's even a function or a method for this. Come on, where is it? That is not that one. I thought there was some sort of apps path, submodule apps path. Yeah, there it is. I don't know where it's defined though, but let's use it. Like so. So now we can check it. Check out apps path. All right. And possibly remove empty directories. This is all that is supposed to do. And now at least it will do the right thing. Let's see all invocations of that. Okay. And now the module path, oops. Check out module apps path. Same here. And I guess that one we can also place here. It's unused right now. So first of all, yeah. Oh wait, self-clone repo. No, wait. This is our own function which deals with the separate stuff automatically. So we are good. We're good here. There's no need for that one. And that should be it. That should already work and deal with Git files automatically. So I guess we get further now, one step further. Let's try that. Now it fails at, that's not too bad. Oh no, wait, it is bad. 191, just 30 lines further. We have a git command error once again. Let's try to figure out continue update. We should have a set up a tracking branch that's also active. Delete the whole directory and reinitialize. Let's have a precondition as well. I mean, you know, it just indicates my level of trust for these test cases. Let's just say not equals 0. And we delete it, and then there shouldn't be any children left. And still the same. Good. So I guess what's happening is that we clone into a separate directory here, which does exist. And and then it fails because, well, where it is already exists, which is fair enough. I think what happens here is that we expect this rm tree to kill our submodules, even though it doesn't really do it. You know, what we would have to do is to use the remove function here, and I will do just that, just to see, does it make sense? We only want to remove our, no, we want to remove this submodule. Okay, good. Let's try that. Submodule remove. And now we fail in submodule remove. So we have to force it. And now let's see, 188. Okay, we've just, I see what this remove is supposed to do. It's just supposed to remove our checkout and our module, but not the configuration actually. Okay. So let's see, configuration, false. Good. A few 20 lines further down to 30, to 13, to 30 would be nice. Still nearly 200 lines to go. Okay, so what do we have here? We've removed this stuff. Do we do a manual deletion at some point? No. I mean, you see, I kind of do crazy things here that have a lot of knowledge, or basically the test has a lot of knowledge on how submodules work. And maybe by now they do not work like that anymore, at least thanks to the separate module directory. Things could go wrong here, even though they shouldn't. Anyway, there's lots of potential for errors, and I think we run into every one of them. That's for sure. So this update tries to clone. Oh, it tries to do async. Well, fair enough, because async does indeed not exist. Where did we find it? Where did we put it? That's not the test. That's 480. And not the test we're actually looking at. So that is interesting. How does it... get this path even? Update clone repo. Oh my. CSM. I mean, if I look for async, I don't even find it. Does it work on older revisions of gitdb or of my submodules here? Can this be? To refer to a SHA at some point? Oh, actually I do. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's a tag where there are no submodules, so that's just fine. Submodule current, submodule changed. Yeah, so I think these SHAs I want to update. Otherwise, I see old revisions there, and that's a bad thing. Let's have a look. Actually, we want to have, apparently we want to have a SHA where submodules have been changed compared to the SHA before, but I just want to kind of figure out where these are in the whole scheme of things. That was 468. That's from 2010. Whoa. 4 years. No, that doesn't work. That's sad. I just want to list all files that are existing in that particular commit, but probably I just have to check it out somewhere. Okay, so is that one in the future? Seems to be in the past, huh? August 13. The other one was December. Yep. Okay, so maybe we use a current one and then yet another one. Yeah, I mean, this test has to change anyway. As a current one, let's give him a recent commit. And a changed one, well, did we change submodules? No, we actually didn't. I mean, not there. Submodule changed. I mean, this old commit might as well work for us, but yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I have to really change the test more profoundly than I initially planned. I mean, I want to put the least possible effort here and get this to work. So I think this is now an HTTPS URL. Fine. No, let's just say it should end with that. That's good enough. Like so. Okay, that's not a big deal. Let's see how far it goes. 2, 3, 4. That's a bit further, isn't it? And now it says, oh, it has an assertion error. Awesome. But I think that if you look at this, that seems a bit scrambled, possibly. Maybe that doesn't reoccur if I run it again. Because that's a good daemon problem. Well, not a good daemon problem, but it's a long-standing issue that I probably have talked about like 10 times now. Which is a spurious issue related to multi-threading in Python 2. And I don't know why that would be. Anyway, we get much further now. And yeah, let's have a look. 282. That's good. Just like 100 lines more to go. Okay. So my dry run fails here. (747) unless force is specified. That's okay, because even in dry run it does a lot of testing. So it didn't actually try to remove anything, it was just testing it for the possibility of removing it. Let's see, remove, and then I say force true. So if I would go force true on this one, then it should actually work in dry run mode. So this is kind of a bug here, which was always there, but for some reason, probably due to a bug somewhere else, this didn't get, it didn't notice that. Good. 294, 10 more lines. Now we fail. Cannot write blocks of historical submodule configurations. True. I try to remove this one, and I say the configuration should be removed as well. And that doesn't work in historical configurations because you can't change the history. History is history, and you can't change that. Makes sense. Thanks for checking. So there are two possibilities here. Either there's some cache issue and it still thinks it's in the past even though it's not. Or well, I just have to turn off the configuration here. Which is odd because, yeah, I mean, I have a weird setup here, I check out old revisions and things, and I'm not sure at all what's going on there. It's too crazy a bit. I mean, this has naturally grown, and this, when you naturally grow it, then it's never too crazy for you. But later, these monster tests, gee, it's difficult just to visualize what kind of state it expects here in order to work. So I can just kind of try things and possibly fix bug on the way. But yeah, my main interest here is to run as much code as possible. And this is what this test is good for. It's not really good for maintenance at all, because I won't touch this. I'll just make it work, leave it, and write new tests down here, which are smaller for now at least. So that's the plan. Okay, let's see what we can do. 294. And then here we try to use the config writer in 806. And I could turn this off if I want to. Problem here seems to be that our parent repository is checked out in a commit which is not current, which is not recent, and I bet this is totally right. Let's jump in there. Let's have a look at the repository first before I make any kind of hacky fix. Where is it? Here it is. I am on master though. I am on master, and the change here just changes the URL. Okay. And I wonder what it wants to tell me. Maybe it's a submodule that is at the wrong commit git-db. It's also on master. And it seems all good. So from that point of view, I can't really determine what's supposed to be wrong. And we didn't check out the submodules here yet. Oh no, wait, what? git-db does not have submodules? Or was it deleted? Oh yeah, removed submodule git-db, so I was the one, fine. But from that little inspection, I can say that the repositories themselves seem to be correct. So I can only assume that some caching is going on within these instances that make it believe that It's a historical commit that I tried to write, 179. Let's see what the state is. Parent matches head. Okay. Let me see. Repo, git-dir. That's git-db. Okay. That's all in git-db. That's what we have to look at. Interestingly, we have removed this. We don't even get the config parser, do we? Because it fails before that. 865. Ah. 806. Yeah. So what's happening is that in our parent repo, we remove traces of ourselves and then remove the... Oh yeah, that's actually in the parent configuration. You know, in the git config there we remove ourselves. It's kind of, you know, it keeps itself in multiple places, which is a bad thing, but yeah, that's how it is sometimes. And then remove ourselves from the git modules file. And that fails because this config writer thinks it's still at an old commit, which I think is not the case. Where was that? 179. So repo head commit is that one. Show me. Removed, and that's the latest one, is it? Okay, that is true. So why does it think that the repo head commit is not the same? What's going on? Oh no, repo head commit is that one, sure, so that works. Sorry. But my parent commit is not, is an older one. Probably just one before, B237 whatnot. Bump to version. Ah, the one before. Interesting. So I think what happened, that there was a commit in the meanwhile, and we did not update our own parent commit. This is what happened. Okay, let's see where that happens. Where that can possibly happen. And where is it stored? So here it's the parent commit slot. We can initialize it when creating a new submodule instance. We will also grab it when first accessed and then just use the actual commit that our parent repository is checked out at. All good and fine. So I guess that my cache just went out of date. So after removing something, we should clear our cache. And we do so. Oh, and by the way, right? Try run shouldn't affect anything. Not even the cache that we can easily recreate. Okay. I still have the feeling that something happens here that makes our cache go out of scope, or well, out of sync with reality. But I don't know where this happens yet. Where did the instance that I have here lose its cache? Synchronicity. Where did it go out of sync? Yeah, caches have this problem that if you have one, well, you have to keep it in sync. And that's mostly, you know, a great source for bugs, as it is now. Yeah. Do we set it explicitly here? Maybe this is also part of the problem, but we set it to the head commit. Okay. Maybe we should just do this in code too. Just to make it work, but still. I set this a few times. But not in our actual test case here. No. Good. Ah, come on. Either items, there are just some magic that I don't like. For the remaining info saves time as it doesn't have to be parsed again. Okay, fair enough. Just an optimization. Good. Here we set it quite explicitly in add, but even that seems to be the head commit. Okay, so either set parent commit is called in our test, or we initialize our instance here with a commit that is later out of date. Well, where do we do it? I think we wouldn't do it that way. We would do it with class, like so. We just do it once and initialize it even with a null bin char, because we set the, oh no, that is the bin char. Bin char referring to a commit in the remote repository. Oh yeah, well, that's yet another thing, parent commit. But default is unset. Well, sm set, no, just set it directly, yeah. Let's not do this. Maybe I should set it, not set it directly. I think I had my reason, because this does much more checking here. But maybe it should do that checking, huh? I'm not sure. Yeah, it does a bit more checking. I think this might be the reason for me not to use set parent commit here. I can't undo this. Oh, no, I can. Okay. Well, let's clear caches. Let's set the parent commit then. Let's make it work, even though I would rather prefer to learn where it goes out of sync. 294. Do I see anything here? CSM, where does it get instantiated? That could be the way to go. CSM, CSM, CSM. Have it for a long time. Oh yeah, here. And I think in the meanwhile stuff happens. And CSM just doesn't notice that. Yeah, well, I would just update it then. And it should work. I don't know if it could possibly be notified if it should clear its cache. Maybe. Maybe it should. For now. That could possibly work. I don't know how to handle this because users can easily run into this when they modify a lot of state, or when they do a lot of things, then eventually they might get hit by that, and I don't know. There shouldn't be another way to do this. Especially the clear cache is still not publicly accessible. So users wouldn't even be able to use that or be allowed to use that. Maybe I should just make it public and say, okay, if you have this kind of issue, clear the cache. But still, I know I wanted the parent commit just for the config parser so that I can tell them to read the configuration of a historical state. But right now it's kind of making sure it doesn't really work. Maybe I should clear the cache before I remove something. I mean, this would certainly fix it. Like so. Oh no, clear cache probably in any case. Maybe I should do it before. Yeah. Oh, it's ran for a long time, and we went through to line 297. Also, I'd like to run the other tests now because I've changed remove. Maybe it fails now. Ideally, we just see one error. One error. Awesome. 297. Oh, look at this. This is still... Oh yeah, I disabled this. Why did I disable this? Good. Now, with a little bit of luck, we will get further. 296. That doesn't work. Submodule path git-db did not exist in parent commit 8b90f. Yeah, well, that's the check that it does. Question is, why doesn't it exist at our current state? Did I do anything weird here? Ah. Yeah. Okay. That is kind of telling us that something is wrong with the state of the repositories. and it's not what we thought it would be. It's also new that I make the commits here. Previously I didn't automatically commit things when removing submodules, and maybe this is also kind of messing it up. Interesting. So it's as mmap now. We are in git-db. And it's true, we didn't even have a git modules file there, huh? Last time I checked. At least it was empty. So is this such an old version? No, it's 2015. Ooh. What changed? Removed submodule git-db. Fully removed all async dependencies. Okay, that was my own one a while ago, and then today that's what the test did. Removed submodule to git-db. That's also the latest one. Git dev. Yeah, here I have removed it's too much though. Did I also change a file here or something? Quite a lot of changes. Yeah, well. I don't know about that. How? Yeah. So CSM, is CSM supposed to be? Supposed to be as mmap? It is supposed to be as mmap. Alright. Which apparently doesn't even exist anymore. Yet we try to remove it. Do we test it somewhere above? Here we update it. To be checked out at the right spot as well. Should we maybe check for this? Assert CSM module exists. Assert CSM exists. And the module exists, you know. You have to check actually, because we have separate module directories now. And exists just checks if it exists in the configuration in the git modules file. And that's all. And the module will always be our actual Git repository, which can be separate. And yeah, let's check that. Module exists, the module working tree should also exist. CSM module working tree, dear. Like so. Let's just start slowly and make sure the basic assertions are right. That was too early. Spurious error. Oops. And we are back in set parent commit. So all this was true so far. So up until here it did exist. And then we removed the submodule. And submodule, I think CSM is child submodule. And submodule is git-db, right? So how would that how should that work? How should I do any of this, considering that this doesn't work anyway? Well, I could, you know what happens if I just ignore this, or let's just see CSM, how often do we need it further down? Not at all. Awesome. So I can just fix this portion of the test case to be what it is. So I actually wanted to fail here. And this raises. Yeah, I don't know. Which exception was thrown again? Tell me. Value error. Well, a bit generic, but all right. Okay. So this still shouldn't exist. And that should possibly work. Work better. Yes. Let's get the syntax right. I think that's the simplest thing to do here. And 298. What? Really? CSM still exists? Oh, tell me about it. Huh. So it's SM map, and it appears to still be existing in git-db. Oh, actually I can do it like that. Just thanks to Z shell magic, you can just paste path and it will cd there. Convenient, even though sometimes if you don't know that it does that, it's confusing. That's always how it is. So SM map is not supposed to exist anymore. Oops. And it doesn't seem to exist anymore. Maybe it still exists in the parent configuration, in the git-db module configuration. So we have to go up, up. And I think that's what it checks really. Up, up. I think it's here .git modules, git-db, then modules. Oh no, wait, but here in the config file we could have the submodule, but it's not there. Awesome. So back to the code. Why does it think it still exists, please? Maybe now it still exists. Okay. First it basically clears the cache, then it triggers the cache regeneration. Which happens in set cache, and there it wants to have its own config reader, and I think that's depending on the parent commit, right? And this might might be pointing to an old commit where it still had it, where it still had this particular submodule. So in git-db, we had 6.5d, and then we remove the submodule as mmap, actually, not git-db. And he is still at the one before. And this is why it still thinks it's at the wrong or at the right one. So we should set the parent commit. But we can't set it if that repository doesn't exist anymore. So does clear cache set the parent commit or remove the parent commit? I think so. No, it doesn't. So parent commit is really like, yeah, but can we force this? Was there some check? Yeah, check equals force. So let's do this. Let's fix it up. CSM set parent commit to CSM repo head, because there the submodule doesn't exist anymore. Oh well, let's use the commit. It wants commit objects here. Check false. Good, and now this should work. And this is something, you know, I'm writing this here and this makes it feel even worse, because it shouldn't, existing instances, yeah, I can't fix existing instances. That's the problem here. Because even though when I call remove here, it iterates over its own children here and removes them recursively. That's all good and fine. And these instances will of course be in a good condition, they will be correctly configured. But these instances have nothing to do with the CSM instance that I keep here around all the time, which is the only reason why the cache goes out of date. And that's it. So usually this doesn't happen. You should just gather all the submodules that you want to work with. All right, 300. Okay. So check is false. That would usually figure out that the submodule doesn't exist there, and I thought you could just force it that way, but that's not the case. So instead, it just fails, which is fair enough. We told it not to check anything. 846. Ah, yeah, and that's where it tries to set its own bin char. Which is also something that might not be that interesting after all, just the value that it keeps. Yeah, for, just to be an object. Because submodule is just an object, like a commit, it needs bin char, and this is what it wants to set here. So if it's not there, I think it's just okay to say that it's a null bin char, isn't it? Well, key error, self-pincher. Is a null pincher. Good. In theory, we get a bit further, at least. 80 lines to go. No! Global name. Ah, yeah, well. Silly me. Copy-paste code, without thinking, always leads to issues. Then previous count -1. What was previous count? Yeah, I mean it didn't really do anything. So that's not -1. It seems that previously it didn't really recursively delete things. If that could work. I'm confused. I think now it should be better than it was before. Especially the removal has been improved and fixed. I think. I might want to try it on real repositories at some point. I mean, these are real, but, you know, try it manually and just see how it goes. Maybe update pgit. Cannot delete module at gitdb as there are new commits, so it wants force 310. All right, and we move forward slowly. Maybe this will work now. Yeah. It worked. Let's run all tests. Let's run flake. That's nice. Doesn't mean we are over the, you know, we did it, but at least it means all the test cases are back and Git files work, and so far it seems to be quite alright, even though I would like to add more tests as I proceed. But this is definitely better than it was before, so in any case I wouldn't want the next release to be held up by me, I don't know, not fully trusting it, because it has a lot of tests and I think I should trust it. So, submodule base 466, trading whitespace, test submodule 3, Shoodle, imported but not used, and 298. Oh. Trading whitespace. I don't see it. Why do I not? Oh, okay, it's 297 now because we removed one line. Fine. Okay, so that worked. Let's try it with Python 3. I think that will work, so I shall prepare another commit. implementation. Definitely fixes 233. Nice. Let's push it and see what happens. Okay. I'll be back with another ticket soon.